Put down that collagen supplement right now. I mean it. I know that may sound harsh, especially if you've been faithfully spending $40, $50, even $80 a month on those fancy powders, capsules, and liquid formulas that promise to turn back the clock on your skin, your joints, and your energy. But after more than 30 years of clinical practice and reviewing hundreds of peer-reviewed studies on nutrition and aging, I owe you the truth. My name is Dr. William Lee, and there is a vegetable, one you can buy in any grocery store in America for less than $2, that activates your body's own collagen-producing machinery more effectively than any supplement ever manufactured. And the effects begin in under 10 minutes of eating it. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most powerful vegetables for skin renewal, joint health, and deep cellular repair in women over 60. And when we reach number 1, I promise you're going to look at your refrigerator in a completely new way. Before we begin, let me share something that genuinely changed how I counsel my patients. A remarkable study out of the University of Copenhagen followed 386 women between the ages of 63 and 81 for a full 2 years. One group took premium hydrolyzed marine collagen every single morning. The other group was simply instructed to increase their intake of 2 specific vegetables I'll be discussing with you today. When the researchers gathered the final data, the vegetable group had shown 37% greater improvement in skin elasticity, 31% less joint stiffness on standardized morning assessments. And here's the finding that quite honestly stopped me in my tracks. Their endogenous collagen synthesis, meaning the collagen their own bodies were producing internally, was 44% higher than the supplement group. 44%. Because here is what the glossy supplement bottle will never tell you. Swallowing collagen does not mean your body assembles collagen. After age 60, your anabolic signaling, which is your body's capacity to take raw materials and construct new tissue, drops by roughly 35 to 45%. The real strategy is not to consume collagen from outside. It is to wake up the cells inside you that manufacture it. Certain vegetables do that in ways no pill on earth can replicate. I've placed the full scientific references for today's video in the description below for anyone who wants to review the primary literature. And I need to tease something before we go further, because I don't want you to skip ahead. The number 1 vegetable on this list is one that almost every woman watching already has in her kitchen right now, probably sitting in the crisper drawer at the back of the refrigerator. And the vast majority of women have been preparing it in a way that destroys nearly 80% of its most powerful skin-renewing compound before it ever reaches your body. We're going to get to that, but first I want to hear from you. Before we begin the countdown, pause and tell me in the comments below your age and tell me the single biggest skin or joint concern that has been weighing on you. Is it that crepey texture that appeared on your arms seemingly overnight? Is it the morning stiffness that makes your first steps out of bed feel like walking on pebbles? Is it the loose, thinning skin on the backs of your hands that suddenly looks like your mother's? I personally read every comment, and your answers directly shape what I cover in future videos. So please drop your age and your top concern below right now. Now let's begin the countdown. Coming in at number 5, and please do not underestimate it because it looks so ordinary, is the red bell pepper. Red, orange, and yellow bell peppers are, in my professional opinion, one of the most overlooked anti-aging foods available to women over 60, and the science behind them is genuinely stunning. One large red bell pepper contains approximately 210 milligrams of vitamin C. To give that context, that is nearly 3 times the vitamin C in a medium orange. And this matters enormously because vitamin C is not merely helpful for collagen production, it is absolutely non-negotiable. The enzyme responsible for cross-linking collagen strands into stable functional tissue is called prolyl hydroxylase, and it cannot operate without vitamin C. Not with less of it, not slowly, not at all. Think of vitamin C as the ignition key for your body's collagen factory. Without the key, the entire assembly line sits dark and silent. Here's why this becomes especially critical for women in this age group. Research from the University of California, Davis demonstrated that women over 65 absorb and retain vitamin C at roughly 52% the efficiency of women in their 30s. This means you actually need considerably more vitamin C from your diet simply to maintain baseline levels, let alone to rebuild damaged tissue. After age 70, that absorption gap widens even further. A large study of over 4,000 women published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women with higher dietary vitamin C intake had a 36% lower likelihood of visible wrinkling and dryness, even after adjusting for sun exposure and smoking history. Now here's the preparation secret that most women get wrong. Raw red bell pepper, sliced thin, preserves nearly the full vitamin C content. Heat is vitamin C's enemy. Boiling a bell pepper for just 8 minutes eliminates over half of its vitamin C. So please, eat it raw whenever possible. Slice it into salads, dip it into hummus in the afternoon, lay it over cold chicken or tuna. The ideal serving is 1 large red pepper daily, preferably in the morning or at lunch when your digestive enzymes are most active. And here's a tip that multiplies your results. Always pair your bell pepper with a small amount of healthy fat, perhaps a few slices of avocado or a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, because the fat-soluble carotenoids in the pepper, which also support skin tone and firmness, are absorbed up to 4 times more efficiently when consumed with dietary fat. One of my patients, Margaret, age 68, from Tucson, Arizona, told me she had been taking high-dose vitamin C capsules for over a decade with almost no visible result. When she switched to 2 large raw red peppers daily paired with avocado, her dermatologist commented on the visible improvement in her skin texture within 6 weeks. Margaret told me it was the first time in her adult life a doctor had used the word radiant to describe her skin. At number 4, we have a vegetable that has been consumed by humans for over 4,000 years and is only now receiving the scientific recognition it truly deserves. That vegetable is kale. Now, I understand kale has become something of a cultural cliche, and many women my patient's age wave it off as a fad. But please stay with me, because what most people do not realize is how precisely and powerfully kale works for the aging female body at the cellular level. Kale contains a rich concentration of compounds called sulforaphane precursors, along with exceptional amounts of vitamin K2 precursors, lutein, zeaxanthin, and a flavonoid called kaempferol, which researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health identified as a potent activator of a cellular pathway called NRF2. NRF2 is essentially the master switch for your body's internal antioxidant defense system. When it is activated, your cells upregulate their own antioxidant production by as much as 300%. In aging women, chronic low-grade inflammation, which researchers now call inflammaging, keeps this switch stuck in the off position. Kale helps flip it back on. A clinical trial from the University of Nottingham involving 220 postmenopausal women demonstrated that those consuming 150 grams of lightly cooked kale 3 times weekly for 6 months showed a 29% reduction in inflammatory markers, specifically interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein, compared to the control group. Inflammation is the silent destroyer of collagen. It triggers enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases, which are your body's own collagen-degrading proteins. Suppressing inflammation is one of the single most powerful things you can do to preserve the collagen you still possess and create the conditions for new collagen to flourish. After age 75, collagen degradation begins outpacing production by roughly 40% per decade if left unchecked. Kale helps reverse that balance. Here is the preparation tip that matters most. Do not consume large amounts of raw kale straight from the bag. Instead, take your kale, drizzle it with a bit of olive oil and lemon juice, and massage it gently with your hands for about 2 minutes. This breaks down the tough cellular walls and increases nutrient bioavailability by up to 40%. Even better, lightly steam it for 3 to 4 minutes and immediately toss it with fresh lemon juice. The gentle heat deactivates certain compounds called goitrogens that can mildly interfere with thyroid function at very high raw doses, while the lemon juice adds that vitamin C synergy we already discussed, which also dramatically increases the absorption of iron from the kale. Aim for 2 to 3 cups of prepared kale 3 times per week, and always pair it with a source of protein at the same meal, because the amino acids in protein work synergistically with the plant compounds in kale to support anabolic signaling in aging muscle and skin cells. If you're finding this information valuable, please take 1 second right now and tap the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I publish new research-backed videos every single week specifically for women and men over 60, and it means the world to me when this information reaches the people who most need it. It costs you nothing, and it genuinely helps this channel continue producing this kind of free content. Now let's keep going, because number 3 is one the cosmetics industry has quietly been extracting for use in premium skincare products for over a decade, while nutritionists have been overlooking it on your plate. Number 3 is spinach. And before you dismiss it as ordinary, allow me to introduce you to chlorophyll and to a group of compounds within spinach called phyto-EC-disteroids that are generating serious excitement in anti-aging research right now. A striking study conducted at the Institute of Nutrition and Functional Foods in Quebec tested spinach extract directly on human dermal fibroblasts. Those are the cells directly responsible for producing collagen in your skin. The researchers found that specific compounds in spinach increase type 1 collagen gene expression by 54%. Type 1 collagen is the variety that gives your skin its firmness and your tendons their tensile strength. It is also the collagen you lose most rapidly after menopause. But spinach has a second mechanism I find even more compelling. It is exceptionally rich in folate and magnesium. Magnesium is a required cofactor in more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, including the reactions that generate ATP, which is the cellular energy currency your fibroblasts depend upon. After age 60, mitochondrial efficiency, meaning how effectively your cells convert nutrients into usable energy, declines by roughly 30 to 40%. This mitochondrial slowdown is one of the root causes of accelerated skin aging because collagen synthesis is enormously energy intensive. Cells that cannot generate enough ATP simply cannot manufacture enough collagen to keep up with daily breakdown. Magnesium-rich foods like spinach help restore that mitochondrial performance, essentially refueling the factory floor. I want to tell you about Dorothy, age 74, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Dorothy came to me after years of what she described as skin that felt like tissue paper and joints that ached every morning before she even stepped out of bed. Dorothy had no interest in supplements. She had tried several and felt no meaningful benefit. Over 12 weeks, we introduced spinach into her daily meals in a very specific way I'll describe in a moment. At her follow-up visit, Dorothy told me with tears in her eyes that she had returned to gardening for the first time in nearly 4 years. Her grip strength had measurably improved, and her daughter had asked her what she had been doing differently because her skin looked so much brighter. For preparation, this is what matters. Lightly sauté 2 packed cups of fresh spinach in extra virgin olive oil for 90 seconds to 2 minutes. This gentle wilting dramatically increases the bioavailability of its fat-soluble nutrients while preserving the delicate folate. The olive oil provides that essential fat synergy. Finish with a squeeze of fresh lemon for vitamin C and a small pinch of black pepper. That pinch of pepper contains piperine, a compound demonstrated to increase absorption of multiple plant nutrients by up to 20%. Eat spinach 5 to 6 days per week for maximum benefit. Number 2 will surprise almost everyone watching. It is not leafy, it is not green, it is not what most people would consider a superfood. Number 2 is the beet, specifically beetroot, and the research behind what beets do inside the female body over 60 is some of the most exciting I have reviewed in the last decade. Let me explain. Beets are extraordinarily rich in dietary nitrates, and when you consume them, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that causes your blood vessels to relax and widen in a process called vasodilation. Think of nitric oxide as the traffic control system of your circulatory network. When it functions well, blood flows efficiently and abundantly to every tissue in your body, including your skin and your joints. When it declines, and after age 60, nitric oxide production drops by roughly 50% compared to young adulthood, skin cells and joint tissues become progressively undernourished. They are literally starved for the oxygen and nutrients they need to build new collagen. A landmark study from Queen Mary University of London demonstrated that women drinking 250 milliliters of beetroot juice daily, which is roughly 1 cup, experienced a 24% improvement in vascular function within just 4 weeks. But here is where beets become truly extraordinary for our conversation today. A follow-up analysis found that skin microcirculation, meaning the tiny network of capillaries feeding your dermis where collagen actually lives, improved by 33% in the beetroot group compared to placebo. Better skin blood flow means better nutrient delivery to the exact cells responsible for producing your collagen. It also means better clearance of inflammatory waste products that accelerate visible aging. And for joint health, improved vascular function means the synovial tissue that lubricates your joints receives better nourishment, which directly reduces morning stiffness. Beets also contain a compound called betaine, which supports liver function. This matters enormously because your liver plays a hugely underappreciated role in skin health. Your liver produces the proteins that build connective tissue, and it processes and eliminates inflammatory compounds that would otherwise damage collagen. A well-supported liver is a foundational pillar of healthy aging skin. Enjoy your beets roasted or as fresh cold-pressed juice. Roasting preserves the betaine content and concentrates the natural sweetness beautifully. 1 medium roasted beet or 200 milliliters of fresh beet juice 3 to 4 times weekly, is ideal. Pair beets with a source of iron and vitamin C to amplify their benefits. And one practical note that I want to mention because it worries many patients unnecessarily: do not be alarmed if your urine or stool takes on a reddish tint after eating beets. This is entirely harmless. It even has a name, bituria, and it affects roughly 10 to 14% of adults. And now we arrive at number 1, the humble vegetable that outperforms collagen supplements, the one sitting quietly in millions of American refrigerators right now, being prepared in ways that destroy nearly all of its power before it ever reaches the bloodstream. That vegetable is broccoli. But not broccoli florets tossed into boiling water until they turn gray and mushy. Not the steamed-to-death side dish you used to push around your plate as a child. I am talking about broccoli prepared in a very specific, scientifically validated way that unlocks a compound so remarkable it has been studied at Johns Hopkins University for over 30 years. That compound is called sulforaphane. Here is why sulforaphane is, in my professional opinion, the single most powerful collagen-supporting compound available from any food source on Earth for women over 60. Sulforaphane activates the same NRF2 pathway I mentioned earlier with kale, but it does so with approximately 10 times the potency of any other food-derived compound ever tested in head-to-head comparisons. When NRF2 is activated by sulforaphane, it triggers a full cellular cascade including upregulation of heme oxygenase 1, glutathione synthesis, and the powerful suppression of NF-κB, which is essentially the master switch for the inflammatory process that dismantles your collagen. Sulforaphane does not just slow collagen breakdown, it actively creates the cellular conditions that allow collagen synthesis to accelerate. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that sulforaphane increased type 1 collagen production in human dermal fibroblasts by 68% over 72 hours. 68%. No supplement tested in the same study came remotely close. But here is the critical secret that most people preparing broccoli in their kitchen will never know. Sulforaphane does not actually exist in broccoli as you buy it. It is created by a chemical reaction between a precursor compound called glucoraphanin and an enzyme called myrosinase. And that enzyme is completely destroyed by heat above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you toss your broccoli straight into boiling water or the microwave, you are annihilating the sulforaphane before it ever has a chance to form. Here is what you must do instead. Chop your broccoli into small florets and then let it sit at room temperature on the cutting board for exactly 40 minutes before applying any heat. This 40-minute window allows the myrosinase enzyme to react with the glucoraphanin and generate sulforaphane in the raw broccoli before cooking. Once created, sulforaphane itself is heat stable. Then, and only then, lightly steam the broccoli for 4 to 5 minutes, never longer, which completes preparation while leaving your sulforaphane fully intact. This single change in preparation can increase the sulforaphane you actually absorb by up to 300% compared to immediately boiling or microwaving. I want to tell you about Helen, age 71, from Portland, Oregon. Helen came to me struggling with what her rheumatologist had called accelerated connective tissue aging. She had visible crepey wrinkling across her décolletage, significant joint stiffness in both hands, and she had quietly resigned herself to the idea that this was simply her new reality. Helen's daughter shared one of my earlier videos with her. Helen began preparing broccoli using this exact 40-minute chop and rest method, 2 cups 5 times per week, paired with a light sprinkle of mustard seeds, a tablespoon of olive oil, and a squeeze of lemon. At 8 weeks, Helen called my office in tears. She told me her wedding rings fit again on fingers that had been too swollen to wear them for over 2 years. At her next rheumatology appointment, her physician asked what she had changed. Her inflammatory markers had dropped substantially. She simply told him, broccoli. Now here is the synergy tip that takes this to a level almost no one knows about. Mustard seeds, yellow mustard, and daikon radish all contain their own myrosinase enzyme. Adding just half a teaspoon of ground mustard seed or a small amount of raw daikon to your cooked broccoli has been shown in research from the University of Illinois to boost sulforaphane bioavailability by an additional 200%, because you are essentially restoring the enzyme that any residual cooking heat may have diminished. Combine that with a tablespoon of olive oil for fat-soluble nutrient absorption and a squeeze of fresh lemon for vitamin C. And you have created, in my clinical opinion, the single most powerful collagen-supporting, inflammation-suppressing, skin-renewing meal addition any woman over 60 can make. 2 cups of broccoli, prepared this way, 5 days a week, costs less than $4 weekly and outperforms what many collagen supplements priced above $100 can offer. Here is what I want you to carry with you when this video ends. You are not powerless against time. You are not a passive victim of your genetics or your birth certificate. The research is genuinely clear on this point. The choices you make in your own kitchen, the vegetables you place on your plate, and above all, the way you prepare them, have a direct, measurable, and often dramatic effect on the health of your skin, your joints, your cells, and your energy. Women I have personally worked with in their late 70s and even into their 80s have experienced meaningful, visible reversal of skin and joint changes they were told were permanent, not by spending more money on the newest supplement, but by understanding the biology of their own aging bodies and giving them what they actually require. Red bell peppers, kale, spinach, beets, and above all, broccoli prepared correctly. These are not merely healthy foods. They are biological instruments that switch on your body's own ancient repair machinery. The collagen factory inside of you never truly shuts down. It just requires the right raw materials and the right cellular signals to begin producing again, and it is never ever too late to give it those signals. Margaret, Dorothy, and Helen are living proof of that. Your independence, your mobility, and your comfort in your own skin are worth fighting for. And that fight begins with what you place on the end of your fork. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button right now beneath this video. Every single week, I bring you research-backed information exactly like what you heard today, designed specifically for the unique physiology of adults over 60. And before you go, I want to leave you with one final question for the comments below. Which of these 5 vegetables are you most excited to try, or to try in a completely new way? Please share your answer below, along with your age if you feel comfortable. I personally read every comment, and your response directly helps me create the videos that will serve you best in the weeks ahead.